look at global poverty, our immediate instinctive response is often to think about financial aid. For decades, transferring capital to developing nations has been about financial aid. Seen as the primary way to kickstart economic growth, it feels intuitive and it feels right. But if development were purely matter of financial liquidity, we wouldn't see so many recipient nations still struggling with stagnant growth after decades of assistance. Today, I want to step away from the traditional view of aid as a simple solution. Instead, we'll look at the specific institutional and macroeconomics realities that create a cycle of dependency and explore why true economic independence requires a deep structural transformation. As you can see on the screen, there is a message paradox. Here in theory, external aid is supposed to bridge the savings investment gap and kickstart industrialization, but in reality, long-term continuous aid acts more like an economic policy. It distorts local market mechanism and creates what economists call institutional. Think about it, when a country gets a predictable, comfortable allowance from the outside, the organ's political will to execute painful domestic reforms completely evaporate. The state survives simply by managing its relationship with foreign donors, leaving its one structure flows completely untouched. First, physical disincentive. In a healthy democracy, a government survives on domestic tax, which creates a fiscal contract. Citizens say, I pay you so you perform. But when aid bypasses this, the government becomes accountable to foreign donors, not even people. This suburban fuels corruption and elite capture. Second, the disease when message foreign cash flows a small economy, it artificially enriches the real exchange rate. This makes local manufacturing and agriculture export incredibly expensive, hauling out the very industries need for technological catch-up. Finally, institutional decay. Instead of listening to local market signals, bureaucracies become entirely upset with international donors. Complacence, effectively losing their domestic developmental focus. To put this into perspective, look at this traveling statistic. In the most extreme case, over 17% of a country's public budget is underwritten by external interests. At the point, national sovereignty over domestic planning is effectively an illusion. If you look at the Formula One, the side, the Markov fiscal atomic index illustrates this beautifully. We measure domestic tax revenue against total revenue including aid. When this index drops, a government becomes hyper vulnerable to external political shocks. They aren't running a sovereign state anymore, they are managing a donor-funded project. Now, a crucial nuance here as the economist William Easterly points out, aid is morally mandatory for a pure humanitarian. Chris like wars to tsunamis is save life. But as a long-term economic threat, it fails. To break Three, we must look at part of structural shift. We need to move more productively labor into high value manufacturing. We must trace job transitions from low commodity extraction to value-add export processing goods domestically rather than exporting low-value. And finally, we must revert local capital markets to insulate public balance sheet from fiscal donors allocations. The absolute validation of this model is the historical trajectory of South Korea. In the 1950s, South Korea was a one-tone heavily development nation, yet it became a global economic powerhouse. Because the Korean state treats aid not as a permanent financial crutch, but with instead structural discipline, they channeled every dollar directly into human capital through education, message in infrastructure, and aggressive industrial policy. As economics Ladan and Subramanian proved through rigorous data, aid volume doesn't matter, the institutional framework does. By following the four pathway shown home to from aggressive tax mobilization to performing autonomy, countries can replace their self-collections. So, what are the concrete actionable steps to break the cycle? We can break them down into a few interconnected threads. First, we must replace external charity with domestic accountability. Instead of waiting for donors' check, countries need to modernize their own fiscal systems by distilling the text compliance, a government can finally build its own sustainable revenue forcing it to look at its citizens, not foreign actors. Second, it's about nurturing local economic engagements. Governments need to implement smart target industrial policies. Instead of funding flash but useless mega projects, they should provide strategic credit lines to local business. This allows domestic from the scale-up substitute foreign imports and create real local jobs. Third, we need to stop the bureaucratic box-ticking culture. Ministries shouldn't exist just to please foreign donors and track companies' boss. We must invest in institutional competences, meaning national planning must be entirely realigned around actual domestic growth and local economic realities. And finally, building national financial shields, establishing sovereign wealth funding funds ensure that when a country experiences a resource windfall, that wills and captured and preserved as a buffer against global market shocks, rather than vanishing into personal offshore accounts. Thank you for listening. Emergency aid for food and medicine is fine. We just need to stop long-term cash to government because it ruins their institution. Donors care too much about compliance, but they use aid conditionalities to control the received country's policy.
How can country reduce aid without sacrificing another aspects?
Can you say it again? Can you say it again? Pardon.
Sorry.
How can country reduce aid without sacrificing another sphere in the country? Like as you said, they spend that money for funding or something else, and how they can replace this.
Okay, in this case, you can just say, oh, I don't have immediate answer. I'll think about it and I'll tell you later. Okay? This is something that you can say, okay? All right? I'll think about it and I'll tell you later.
Okay.
Repeat after me. I'll think about it. Repeat after me. I'll think about it. I will think about it and I'll talk to you later.
You say that like no.
No, no.